XRP has officially been priced at over $16,982 guaranteed. This is official, and it's set to happen in under 60 days by 2026 to where it's a definitive price per XRP. Now, this does sound crazy, but when you look at it from a very broad perspective, you realize that trillions of dollars are literally about to flow into the XRP ledger. And in fact, Ripple Labs co-founder has actually stated exactly this, which is that XRP is designed for $10,000 and must be scalable to accommodate 7.5 billion people. But not only did the XRP founder state that, but one of the largest global venture capitalist firms, Liable Capital, actually also stated something similar, which is that XRP's price is also set to be $10,000 to $35,000. And they highlighted that that would occur after regulation and not just determined to be the world's bridge currency. And again, who confirmed this? Well, the managing director of this massive global venture capitalist firm, Jimmy Valley, and he did this in a live recording. Here's another example. Capital firm predicts XRP will be $10,000 with global adoption. Another major firm predicting the exact same thing. And again, this is a common reoccurrence, and it comes as a result of billions, if not trillions of dollars set to be injected into the XRP ledger in such a very short period of time that XRP would experience one of the biggest supply shocks yet. In fact, even the federal government of the United States of America hinted at possibly making a more modern payment system that uses XRP and highlighted that they would very easily be able to write a check for trillions of dollars to pay off the United States debt to China directly, which means that obviously you're talking about facilitating, what is it, 20-30 trillion dollars, and that suddenly flows into the XRP ledger, and into XRP, the price per XRP would have to soar because there isn't enough XRP to go around. And it's starting to happen already on a large scale. I mean, Wells Fargo approves XRP payments as $650 trillion in real estate is set to be injected into the XRP ledger and cost $9,818. Notice how all the numbers are very similar and they are around the $10,000 mark. Well, again, is because when you take that massive introduction of $650 trillion and you do the math divided by the supply, you realize that the number is around $10,000 per XRP, and that this is the likely situation that we will be put in by the beginning of 2026 and by the end of 2025. So again, literally in 60 days, the potential here is to see XRP skyrocket to potentially $10,000 or something close and around that number. At least that is what the analysts are predicting. What's great is that XRP's price is officially rebounding, and we're officially beginning the journey for that massive breakout as the price of XRP is set to now continue increasing upwards. We already seen that retracement, we already passed consolidation, and now it's time to get into the green, which is exactly what is actually happening. With XRP's market cap of about 1.5% and the price at $2.53. Alright, now let's get back to the main basis of the video, which is how XRP will be priced at over $16,982 guaranteed in the next 30 days by 2026. And this was not guaranteed by me, but rather by ChatGPT AI, which says, when asked the question, will XRP steadily be priced at $6,982 by 2026? Yes, definitely. If the global financial system undergoes a massive transformation, where XRP becomes the primary bridge asset for institutional liquidity and real-world asset value tokenization. Here's how it would happen. By 2026, the world may fully embrace blockchain-based settlement systems to replace outdated networks like SWIFT. If trillions of dollars in cross-border payments, real estate, derivatives, and tokenized assets move onto the XRP ledger, the sheer transaction volume would demand a dramatic revelation and re-evaluation of XRP to handle that liquidity. And this is exactly what we're talking about, and this is exactly where the common $650 trillion number is actually appearing. See, we've been doing some research, and basically what it's come down to is in the next couple of days we'll begin to see a massive price increase for XRP that will take it from its current price of about $2.50 to over $3.84, and then begin its rebound towards $227. And all of this is set to occur because of a massive $650 trillion injection that is happening as a result of an institution known as RealFi and their native token, which is built on the XRP ledger known as Real. And we know it's possible because we've already begun to see massive price glitches for XRP. For example, in this case, XRP started trading at $9,864 on one of the biggest exchanges globally, when then it retraced, and obviously the exchange came out publicly and reverted transactions. But it shows us that tests are happening, and the price of XRP reaching $10,000 again is not that much of a shock. But let's focus on the multi-trillion-dollar solution. The real token that is about to get all of these trillions of dollars that is based on the XRP ledger all into it. And this comes down to Real Token, a project that is doing absolutely amazing. I mean, it's up in the green, it's up hundreds of thousands of percentages over the last 2 to 3 months when it first released. And basically, when you take a look at this, you realize that this token, the Real Token, is solving a multi-trillion-dollar problem, yet is so early. I mean, the Real Token is not listed on a single centralized exchange. There's no mass marketing campaign. Not many people know about it, and it's still very complicated to actually get into because, again, it's only on XRP ledger decentralized. Guys, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and this is why when I found out, I got myself a nice bag of it, because I truly believe that when you look at the future, it is going to rely on the new real-world asset markets that are utility-based, and of course, Real is exactly that. It's a real-world asset that uses, it's like a real-world asset project that uses the XRP ledger. And on top of this, very strong support, very low resistance, and the charts seem primed for a big breakout. On top of this, I've been reading a lot of analysts predicting a lot of different prices from $9,000 to $980 to even $65,000 all within the next 1 to 2 months. And this is not even accounting for the fact that if a Real Token were to actually get listed on centralized exchanges, it would soar automatically. Because specifically, there is a lot of institutions that, again, if you take a look at them, like real-world asset projects like, let's say, Real Token, that have been listed on centralized exchanges, and they are worth hundreds if not thousands of dollars, and they have substantially bigger supply than Real Token. I mean, Real Token's phase 1 supply was about 100 million. They might have had 22 million remaining after phase 1 supply. But we're talking about a very, very small supply here. And even that, at that point, when you take a look at the price, you realize that if this thing were to actually take off, it would literally soar into thousands of dollars. Again, right now, everything impacts the price because it's very, very new. So literally, if somebody decides to, buy $10,000 worth of Real Token, the price will soar into the tens, 20s, even potentially hundreds of dollars. And when you look at something like the Real Token right now, you realize that, again, the charts are very, very bullish, but they've also received one of the highest scores alongside XRP, XLM, XTC, all the big projects. They are right there side by side. Take a look at this. Top 3 holders are low risk. BenX score is 100%, KYC score 100%, total wallets 3,505 wallets, which is, again, it's actually huge when you take a look at a project that's not listed on any centralized exchange. It's literally on the XRP ledger, which is, when you look at the protocol, there's not many people that use the XRP ledger, yet its expansion is massive. It's actually insane. It's very, very bullish. And so this is why when you take a look at the Real Token, there's a lot of bullish momentum. I think this thing is going to break out once it gets listed on centralized exchanges. I truthfully see the future being in projects like this, like real-world asset projects that are solving a multi-trillion-dollar problem, that are actually solving a real problem. And here's the example of one of them. Now, again, I want to reemphasize that I'm not a financial advisor, it's not financial advice, it's doing research. In fact, this is the institution RealFi. I mean, RealFi uses the Real Token, and this is what you want to see. You want to see, real institutions actually using the blockchain, using the Real Token or XRP. And RealFi does exactly that. You can actually buy real estate using them, and they're also doing a giveaway. So if you want to take a look at this, again, you can even learn more about the RealFi protocol. But if you take a look at this, you can literally click on register now. You can sign up, go to RealFi.com, sign up to enter a $1,000 giveaway. Again, it's literally free money, so I definitely recommend it. Guys, it's very easy, just enter the giveaway. You can also learn more about the RealFi framework and the system and how they actually use the Real Token directly on their Twitter by heading to @RealFi team. And again, you can do your research. You can also enter the giveaway directly right here. So guys, I want to conclude this by saying that I'm very, very bullish on XRP. I see a lot of potential, and specifically, you guys can clearly tell that the wealth transfer, in fact, the biggest wealth transfer is likely going to happen using XRP or at least something on the XRP ledger. That may be XRP, that may be Real Token, and maybe some other project. But truthfully, the money will shift towards the XRP ledger. And the only way for XRP to even reach 16,000 or even 17,000 is to have it dominate the entire financial infrastructure. And XRP alone can't dominate the entire financial infrastructure. Yes, maybe they can dominate the payment sector, so maybe they can dominate international cross-border payments, but they would need a much bigger market, something being like the real estate market. And the only way that can happen is if another project on the XRP ledger begins to dominate that sector and onboards the money onto the XRP ledger. And this is exactly what we are now beginning to see with projects like RealFi, a big institution that is actually using another token on the XRP ledger, the Real Token, and is attacking the $650 trillion real estate market, which is again a very, very big deal. And again, it shows you the real price potential for both XRP and for Real Token. Yes, Real Token has a substantially less supply, so its price may soar, but at the end of the day, everything's going to go back into the XRP ledger. And that is what makes it extremely special, and that's what makes it extremely bullish, and this is why I'm bullish on the XRP ledger to its entirety. So guys, with that being said, I'm going to end off concluding the video here. Make sure you like the video, you subscribe, you share, and with that being said, I'll see you guys all in the next video. Peace.